So first, how easily will the no-deal bill actually pass through the House of Lords?
Now it will pass through easily because the government has agreed to facilitate it going through. So by 5 o'clock tomorrow, the bill will have gone through the House of Lords.
And what strategy, comes up afterward? Do you want to stop Brexit? How will you go about it?
Brexit. Well, the important thing first is the bill's implemented. So the government has got to apply for an extension of the deadline of the 31st of October. The Prime Minister at the moment is saying he won't do it. So if he sticks to that, he's got to accept that he won't be Prime Minister in October. At the moment, well, the simplest way of that happening is that Parliament's going to be prorogued on Monday. It's coming back on the 14th. It would be perfectly possible for a motion of confidence to go down on the 14th from Corbyn, which the government would lose. It would then be perfectly possible the next day, if we got our act together in advance, to install somebody else as Prime Minister, to act as messenger, to take the letter to Brussels and to get that extension.
Do you think Boris Johnson will extend? What does that mean? If we have fresh elections, that changes the game because Nigel Farage can then say, well, look, you have to vote for me because the Tories capitulated.
Well, it depends when the elections are. I don't think we're going to have elections before the end of October because they'd have to be triggered on Monday, and I don't think that's going to happen. If we have elections after the end of October and we're still in the EU, the Conservatives are in a very big mess compared to the Brexit Party. But they, in turn, could be in difficulties depending on what our status is then with the EU. So once you get beyond about a week from now, the number of variables gets so great, it's quite difficult being absolutely sure of where we're going to be.
I know it's difficult, but what's your base case? So how do you see this actually playing out?
Well, I think the sensible thing and the quite likely thing is that there will be another Prime Minister to deliver the letter. But it won't be after an election, it'll be after a lost vote of confidence. Once we get an extension, one of two things will happen. Either we'll have a referendum, which is what we want, which gives you a clean decision, or...
Well, clean unless it's 51-49.
No, it still gives you a decision. In a democracy, one vote is enough. Just as 48-52 at the time was seen as decisive. Either you have a referendum or you have an election, one of the two. My preference, our party's preference, is to have the referendum, deal with Brexit, and then have an election on all the other issues facing the country.
Who do you think will be a caretaker Prime Minister?
Well, we've suggested Ken Clarke or Harriet Harman. Both of them have said they'd do it. Both of them, I think, will be acceptable to a majority in the Commons.